Alright, guys. So, with this news, I'm not going to talk so much about the variant covers because, well, they are cool-looking variant covers. Don't get me wrong. For those who are, like, trying to figure out what I mean, is that it was announced, well, the full announcement came today. It was talked about a few days ago. But the full announcement is that Marvel and technically Toho are working together to do Godzilla variants in hype for the upcoming Marvel Godzilla Omnibus coming out in, I think, October. So it's meant to be like promotion for that, but they're actually, rather than using Marvel Godzilla, which I'm actually shocked that didn't someone like one of my friends on like Matt, or I think Will, mentioned, hey, why didn't they we didn't get to see Marvel's Godzilla if this is meant to hype up those images, that omnibus? And I'm like, I didn't think about that. So yeah, that happened. But what's fascinating is that it's Toho's Godzilla. Specifically, it is variants of different Godzillas throughout Toho's history. The two I really liked were the Avengers one with them fighting Shin, and the Dazzler one I just love the bright vibrancy of all of it. There's so much detail in that cover. The one I really don't like is the Miles Morales one, because it's clearly it's clearly traced of Godzilla, of Final Wars Godzilla. Like, go look up that cover. That Godzilla is fucking traced. I swear to God. Anyway. But having said that, the vast majority of them are really good. Like I said, the two favorites are Avengers and Dazzler for me. But the thing is that that's the fascinating part, isn't it? That it's Toho working with Marvel. If only not as a full-on Marvel Godzilla crossover, but as a collaboration between Toho and Marvel to at least do covers and use their version of Godzilla. Not keep in mind, MonsterVerse Godzilla, nowhere to be seen. Yeah, MonsterVerse Godzilla, he ain't here. But, again, Toho's various Godzillas is really cool. To have them at least on Marvel covers is a really neat idea. And there had to have been conversations, because Toho and Marvel had the joint rights to that Godzilla. So there had to have been, like, more talks with Toho and Disney, because, Disney owns Marvel, so they'd have to okay everything to get that omnibus out. And I think it's because of, like, how popular, the MonsterVerse and Godzilla -1 were. I think that definitely gave Toho negotiation room. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's probably, that really does feel like that could have been an element in all of this, is that that may have been the case. You know what I'm saying? Is that may have been straight up the case, that they basically were talking, they were talking because of how popular Godzilla has become as of late. So yeah, again, that's what I think is just my assumption. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like in my bones, I feel like that was, how well -1 and the MonsterVerse movies have been doing is what caused this whole thing to happen. Because it's funny how the omnibus got announced after, like, a few months after Godzilla -1 had, like, a month after -1 had come out, and how banger it was at the box office. So yeah, I'm just saying. So what does this? So that also leaves the question of: is it just going to be covers? Is it just going to be covers, or could this prologue into something else? Like, could this be them testing the waters for something else to come down the road? Now let's talk about that real quick. Obviously, they're not going to use MonsterVerse Godzilla. That's under Legendary and under DC. So they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna work with them on that. But however, Toho's Godzilla is clearly up for some kind of talk. Now the thing is, that's Toho Godzilla is at IDW. So for any official crossover, and I want to say that nothing's been announced. Like, this isn't promotion for a Marvel Godzilla crossover. This is just promotion for them for the Marvel Godzilla omnibus, and that's all it is for now. But if, let's say, technically this was them testing the waters to see if they could do a full-on Godzilla crossover. They're already doing one with Ultraman, They've already announced the Avengers Ultraman crossover. So Tokusatsu and Marvel, and they probably saw how well Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong went. So I'm just saying, things are probably, like, there's at least conversations about it. Now again, Marvel and IDW and Toho and Disney, that's like 4 different companies who would, like, let's say hypothetically they do want to do a full-on crossover, Godzilla-Marvel crossover. Like, let's talk about, like, the hypothetical right there. Hypothetically, they could do that. Like, they could legit do that as a full-on crossover. But the thing of it is that they would have to deal... It's not just Marvel that would have to talk to, IDW. It'd be, Marvel talking to Toho, who would talk to IDW, who would also be talking to Disney, who Disney would be talking to... It's like 4 different... It'd be so many cooks in the fucking kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, it was amazing that they actually got the Ultraman Avengers crossover off the ground after how fucking long that took to finally do, right? Like, that took so long to finally, like, come out, and it was, it's finally happening. So, if you thought, like Subaraya Industries and Marvel had to, like, work shit out, could you just imagine them trying to work shit out with Toho, Disney, and IDW? Like, that's, again, it falls under the, so many cooks in the kitchen, or too many cooks in the kitchen, that I don't know if, how they could even get that out. But yeah. Do I think it's possible? I mean, they may just be covers. Keep that in mind. They may just only be covers and nothing else. That's something we have to, like, really discuss, is that these could just be covers and nothing else. But at the same time, you can't help but think they gotta be having talks. And if these variant covers sell well, I would stake a claim that they would at least be having some serious conversations, but I don't know if anything would come of that. Remember, they were dragging their heels with Marvel, and Subaraya Industries were dragging their heels on this crossover, and it basically damn near killed the momentum of the Marvel Ultraman comics by Kyle Higgins. So that's something you have to really, like, take into consideration in all of this. So, yeah, that's something you have to, like, take into account with all of this. Now, the other major thing is that, what would it be? Like, what would if we actually got a full-on crossover, like, what would that crossover be exactly? Now, I probably would say the crossover I would probably see happening is Godzilla versus Avengers. If we could actually get one, it'd be straight up Godzilla versus Avengers, but we'd probably have cameos of other Marvel characters to showcase other ones. And you have to have, like, Godzilla fighting some of the Marvel monsters, like how we're getting Fin Fang Foom versus Ultraman. So you have to do Godzilla versus Foom. At the bare minimum, you have to do Godzilla versus Fin Fang Foom. And would Toho allow the other kaiju to show up? Would they allow Ghidorah, or Mechagodzilla, or, Gigan, or Space Godzilla? Or would they just be like, alright, you can do this crossover, but you can only use Godzilla, and this specific Godzilla? They're more open to like, working with other companies. Toho's been recently working with other companies more, like, on a more friendly term, but at the same time, it's still their IP, and they guard it religiously, they guard it, they really do safeguard it and everything with that property that ensues. So yeah, do I think we could actually get a legit Godzilla versus Godzilla Marvel crossover? I do, but could it happen? I always say never with these crossovers. I do. It's just like, again, so many companies, it would be just a web of fuckery that would be so hard to untangle, So, but as I say with these crossovers, never say never, especially in this day and age. We thought we wouldn't get a Justice League Godzilla crossover. We got it with the Monsterverse. Did we ever think we were going to get a Godzilla Power Rangers crossover? We got a Godzilla Power Rangers. We got now a sequel to the Godzilla Power Rangers crossover. So, and now we're getting these covers, so at the bare minimum, there is conversations, I think. So yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below, What do you guys think of these variant covers? Which one's your favorite? And do you think we could get a legit Godzilla Marvel crossover? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.